Hi, I'm Mel. I made some videos with Dee a little while ago and I asked her if I could make another one about yoga and about my yoga journey, just as a bit of an update. So if you follow Dee, you'll see that she posted some videos and it was me sitting in my old garden with this backdrop of this amazing wall. Now I've just got a plain old one. That one had all this amazing graffiti over it. I unfortunately had to leave that flat. That was like the best part about it, that graffiti wall. But yeah, it was so strange watching it back, hearing the sort of wisdom that I had then, which was quite impressive because I'd not long come back from India, so I think I had all of that sort of in my head. Now I've lived here in a city in Bristol for like 6 years. So I think that things have sort of changed quite a lot since then. And more recently I've been getting back in touch with some of those things that I learned in India as I'm doing an introductory counselling course, and it's quite interesting to kind of put the two together of meditation and yoga and mindfulness and counselling and psychotherapy. Anyway, so Dee was my first teacher when I first moved to Bristol, and although I'd done some yoga when I was travelling, I was really nervous about it. I think probably in the last like 4 or 5 years I've become a lot more accustomed to talking about my body and sort of claiming my body as it is. Although I went through a lot of things when I was in India where I got really sick and I had a lot of challenges with my body and I was starting that path for acceptance, I think living here, continuing with yoga and learning a lot about body positivity and feminism has really, really helped me push on with that and accept my body a lot more. Like I'm wearing like a crop top. Oh, you can't see. I don't want to even like say, trust me, I'm wearing something that is sort of like a crop top, which I never would have worn before, or like, you know, sleeves that I wouldn't want to show my arms before. I was so self-conscious about my body, and I took a lot of that into yoga classes with me, and I was always really worried that I would be the biggest person there, which often I was and still am, but now I've just sort of made some peace with that, really. It's kind of come to be expected. I got very used to doing these classes. I felt comfortable there. Once I got into a routine, I knew the sort of people that would go, and although I was very much in my head still worried about how I looked whilst I was doing it, as I went on and did different yoga practices in different places with different teachers, I just began to get used to the fact that there's all sorts of people in classes of different shapes and sizes, and they're probably paranoid about their body as well. And so everybody's sort of, you know, feeling the same about that, really. Everybody's probably worried about their body. Even if you think the other people have perfect bodies, they're probably still worried about their bodies. Like, everybody has some kind of body hang-ups. The thing about yoga is that after a while of doing it, I started to not focus on those thoughts anymore and go quite inward with it, and just started to try and zone out everybody else around me. So not just thinking, oh, it's okay, my body's not that bad, it's all right, I sort of fit in, but instead going, it doesn't matter what anybody else's body is like or what they're doing. I don't have to try and keep up with anyone. I don't have to prove that I can keep up because I'm not as thin as everybody else. That's the main thing I thought I had to do, like prove myself to be as good as the others because I was bigger. Whereas now, if I want to rest in child's pose, I'll just rest in child's pose. The most important thing is that I'm doing the right thing for my body. And I think that hushing those insecurities came with me learning a lot more about, well, doing a lot more yoga, learning more about yoga, learning about body positivity and growing my own self-esteem as well, so that I wasn't always focusing on those negative, critical thoughts that I had. Because they really distract from your yoga practice when you're tied up in all these things in your head. In meditation and things, they talk about the monkey mind, just thinking about other stuff or think about what you're going to have for dinner later, and I think everyone gets a bit of that. But when your negative thoughts are really deep-rooted, like, you know, you're not worthy of being here because you're too fat, things like this, I used to tell myself, like, you're not going to be able to do it, you're not going to be able to keep up, people are going to laugh at you, people are going to think you don't belong here. I never felt like I fit in. You know, it makes you feel very paranoid, and then you get frustrated at yourself, and you're like, not meant to be thinking this, meant to be getting on with yoga, and it's all loads of pressure. So for me, going to regular yoga classes, it was backed up by reading various books about self-esteem, various books about body positivity, following lots of body positive accounts on Instagram, following plus-size yoga teachers on Instagram. Like, that was pretty incredible for me. When I saw some plus-size women doing yoga, I was just like, damn, I've got no excuse. It's really inspirational, though, to see people of all shapes and sizes doing yoga and exercising and enjoying it, because that's what it's meant to be about. Unfortunately, I had a lot of bad experiences with exercise when I was at school, and it really put me off doing it. We do find that a lot of people, like statistics and studies show that a lot of people who are overweight have actually sort of been scared off doing exercise because of bad experiences that they've had, or because, again, of these negative critical voices that say people will laugh at me. Because they've often been through situations like I have, where people did laugh at me at school. They laughed at me all the time. And it's not fair that that then impacts on our health potentially if we're not feeling comfortable enough to go to a yoga class or go to any other kind of, like, do any kind of exercise. So I also really found that it was helpful to have some counselling and go on a course. So through the NHS, there was a self-esteem course that I attended that was over about 10 weeks, I think, and that was based around cognitive behavioural therapy, and that really helped me sort of unpick some of the thoughts that I was having. I would keep journals. I wrote journals anyway, but more specifically thought journals. And then I would write gratitude journals of things that I was thankful for as well, to really try and shift the focus onto the positive instead. It sort of teaches you how to catch your thoughts. So if I was going to go to a yoga class, a new one, feel a bit anxious, kind of go, oh God, I'll be the only fat person there, and then I'd kind of go, no, okay, I recognise now that that's just my critical voice, and you can give her I know people who've given her a name, like Barbara, there goes Barbara again, no Barbara, just, you know, give it a rest for now, just put Barbara in a box over there, you go to your yoga class and just get on with your thing. And it just really helps to have that separation and realise that you are not your critical thoughts, and that once you realise that they're there, you can just sort of recognise them and then let them pass or put them somewhere else. They talk about thoughts being like clouds, you know, that you don't need to hang on, you just let them float through. So that's quite a good way of thinking about it. I had my own individual counselling sessions as well, because although I've had a lot of body image issues, it can often be something a lot more deep-rooted than that ties into real feelings of self-worth. And so, and yoga was part of this journey as well, because just that practicing every week or a couple of times a week. I usually try and do yoga every day, in fact, sometimes just a little bit of stretching. But it's really good to be able to have a place on your mat that feels safe for you to be able to just go, yes, this is something good for me, and I'm just going to put those critical thoughts aside for now and do something really good that's for my body. All of this helps our whole mind-body connection. It's all part of a bigger healing thing, you know, moving your body in yoga, talking about your emotions, feeling those emotions, feeling in tune with what's going on in your body as well to help you understand emotions. It's all so connected. And I'm still learning more all the time now. I've got loads more to learn. And it's quite an exciting journey to be on. I call it my body positivity journey, but I think it's actually way more than that. So Thank you so much for listening. I'm really grateful to Dee for being one of my first main yoga teachers that I could actually really trust and feel safe with. So thank you so much to Dee. And she's now running retreats that I really want to go on. I wish I could go to India. So I've been to Rishikesh before. It's amazing. It's quite an amazing place. So if you're interested in going to a yoga retreat, then I highly recommend going and doing one of Dee's in India.